This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Watch 3. So, if you follow the watches, you know there was an original Galaxy Watch. There was no Galaxy Watch 2, but since there was a Samsung Galaxy Watch Active 2, they just wanted to let you know that this one's a bit newer because the Active 2 came out in the fall of 2019, and this one is new for August of 2020. Obviously, this is a very traditional looking watch, and you're going to pay more for it as a result, too. We're going to look at it now. So the Watch 3 is available in two different sizes, 41mm and 45mm. The screen sizes are 1.2 inches and 1.4 inches in diameter, and those are OLED displays that are quite bright. Even here in the bright Texas sun of summer, I can see the display, no problem. You can set it for various different timeouts or have it always on, but mind you, the always on display will hurt the battery life. Anyway, this one obviously is a follow-up to the original Galaxy Watch, which was, shall I say, a man's fashion timepiece sort of design. And I think this one probably, even though it's available in things like the new Mystic Bronze color and a 41mm size, still probably target the guys who like a traditional watch. It's got a beefy build to it, though. It's 15% thinner and 15% lighter, which is a good thing because that last one was a chunky monkey. But still, if you're looking for a traditional round-faced watch that doesn't look like a modern smartwatch that would pass for, well, a men's standard watch, this would be it. It costs more than the Active 2, which is the more smartwatchy, sleek, slim, lighter kind of watch to wear, but not so much when I tell you about this part. So this is stainless steel and, well, durable, obviously, and it starts at $399, call it $400 for the 41mm, and it's $30 extra if you go up to the 45mm. So the Galaxy Watch Active 2 is considerably cheaper in the 200s, but there's also a stainless model of that. The base model is aluminum. So if you're looking for stainless, the price gets almost up there with this one again. So for those of you who are sort of like me and you tend to like accidentally slam your wrist into door jams and things like that, and you want the more durable stainless steel, you get it. It has Gorilla Glass DX on the face, not DX Plus that's on the Active 2. Odd. Don't know why. But the glass face is so recessed thanks to the rotating bezel that I don't worry too much about that. I would have a hard time being even my klutzy self scratching the face of this. That rotating bezel is one of the things I think that people really love about the Galaxy Watch line. With the Active 2, they tried to mimic it with a capacitive display kind of bezel, not bezel, right? You know, you just run your finger around the edges, but it doesn't really work the same as grabbing and rotating that bezel, which makes life easy. Not just because you don't want to get the screen schmutzy, icky, but because your big finger on that little screen, you're often blocking what you're trying to tap on, so the bezel's another way to navigate. So go that. Bezel is a little thinner than the last generation, still tactile and easy to grab, so that's one of the ways they managed to make the watch just a little bit smaller without reducing the face size on the watch. There are two versions, as always. There's the Bluetooth, and that's how it connects. There's Wi-Fi as well to your phone, and GPS is built in, so you can still use it for things like runs and all that sort of thing. And then there's the LTE model, 4G, which is about $50 more. Don't expect to see 5G on smartwatches. And number one, it's way overkill, and it would really tank battery life, so that's why we're still at 4G here. So you can go either way. It's up to you on that one. Otherwise, you're looking at pretty much the same watch. For the Watch 3, over the original one, they've added a lot more health sensors. But here's the caveat, that each country that this is sold in, the governments there have to approve that it can actually be an official device that's allowed to monitor your health and report back to you in a reasonably accurate way. Doesn't mean these sensors on here are not accurate, it's just bureaucracy and red tape. For example, it has an ECG, or otherwise called EKG. And finally, the Active 2 also has that, and finally just now the US government has approved those. So software updates will actually enable them on both watches, I hope. It has a heart rate sensor. We've always had that, and it gets better and better. I'm not sure it's much better than the Active 2, though I saw with my Active 2 sometimes my resting heart rate would read weirdly high. I don't know why. I haven't had that problem with the Watch 3. But the heart rate sensor on this is pretty good. I've used it for a variety of exercises, and if you haven't tried one of these in several years, let me tell you, they have improved. Things like rowing machines, things where you're moving your arms around a lot, are a lot more accurate now. And I do a variety of workouts, gym-type workouts, and it's been good. It's been quite accurate. So what about the rest of those sensors? Well, there's fall detection, and that one's on there now if you need it. Probably more for elderly folks, unless you're like super klutzy, I don't know. But we have things like a oxygen sensor, which in the days of COVID, probably a lot of people would like to have, especially since that feature has disappeared from Samsung's Galaxy phones. But that one's not approved yet, nor is the VO2 Max. So there are some things here that you might or might not get. Don't buy the watch waiting on this because, like I said, it took, what, more than 6 months for the ECG just to be approved on the Active 2. Versus the original watch, you actually get a smaller battery, I guess because they're trying to make it thinner and lighter. So you have the same battery capacities that you do on the Active 2, 270 milliamp on the smaller one and 340 on the larger. Obviously, the larger one will have a little bit better run times. This time around, for a watch that's supposed to be kind of nice and classy and like a man's dress watch, we do get a leather band that matches whatever color you get. So obviously I have the Mystic Bronze color that matches the new Mystic Bronze Galaxy Note 20 Ultra that we have in for review, and the Galaxy Buds Live, which are available in that color. But there's also black, and then there's a silver. It's kind of like a two-tone thing with black and silver. I think that looks pretty nice, and colors may vary depending on the watch size. I don't think the Mystic Bronze is available in the bigger size, and also probably by country these things could vary. But you've got some colors to choose from if Mystic Bronze isn't your thing. The 41mm watch that we have uses the same 20mm bands as the Galaxy Watch Active 2, so they're interchangeable, and it's pretty easy, just a little sliding clasp that you use to get the bands on and off. As ever, yes, you can do swimming. It's IP68 water resistant and more, down to 5 atmospheres deeper than most of us are ever going to swim, so you can track your swims if you're a swimming type person. It's MIL-10 STG tested for, I guess, shock and durability and all that sort of thing. And, well, like I said, it's stainless steel, so not too much to worry about there. It's a pretty thick watch, and you can see that it's about 0.4 millimeters, less than a half a millimeter thicker than the Active 2, but it looks thicker. It's just the design of the watch. It's not trying to hide its beefiness. And certainly the Apple Watch Series 5 is the thinnest among them. That's one thing that Apple's pretty good at, making them skinny. Speaking of the Apple Watch, yes, you can use the Galaxy Watch line and the Galaxy Fit and the Active and all that sort of thing with the iPhone as well as with Android. You lose a few features, though. For example, wireless payments, because that relies on Samsung Pay, which you can't have on the Apple Watch, and canned responses to text messages. But I think in the land of Apple, most people would go with an Apple Watch. The integration there is just really so good and so seamless because they're both made by Apple that it's not going to compete. But price-wise, this isn't bad compared to the Apple Watch, considering how much a stainless steel Apple Watch costs, right? The base model on the Apple Watch might not be that bad, but when you go to stainless steel and you're looking at like $700 suddenly, then it gets to be, There are iOS and Android apps, and we've covered Galaxy Watches before, so you've seen this stuff, and I'll show it to you on using the Note 20 Ultra, since we have that in for review. You don't have to have a Samsung branded watch to use one of these, though, on Android land. And they've added even more fitness features. Now you have a run coach, which is a little digitally generated voice that tells you, okay, start warming up. Okay, now start running. Increase your stride, because it can tell your stride from the amount of motion of your arms, that sort of thing. And they say that the sleep monitoring has gotten more granular, and they work with the Sleep Institute or whatever for that. So it is a little bit more informative. It's, before, with the Active 2, for example, it did show you your REM sleep, your deep sleep, your light sleep, how many times you woke up in the night. And now it actually gives you metrics. So before it would say you had 1 hour and 20 minutes of REM sleep, and I'd be like, well, that's nice. What does that mean? Is that normal? So now it actually tells you what kind of is normal for each of those and where you might be lacking. The watch runs Tizen OS 5.5, which is Samsung's OS. This is not Google Wear or Android Wear, which is actually a good thing, since those products really haven't been everything we hope for in terms of software and all that sort of thing. And I've always been pretty fond of Samsung's Tizen watches. It has a gig of RAM, and it has 8 gigs of storage, so you can put some music on there, or you can stream Spotify. The app selection is not really big on this, but on a watch, to be honest, I have an Apple Watch, and I don't really use many apps on there, but something like Spotify is nice. And if you got LTE, then you can even stream when you're on a run if you leave your phone behind. Yay, that. The CPU is the same dual-core Exynos that they've been using for a while, including on the original watch, but it doesn't seem slow. It seems sprightly enough, so I won't complain. And yes, it has both microphones and a speaker, so you can use this for calls. Even if you get the Bluetooth model, you don't get the LTE model, as long as you're in Bluetooth range of your phone, you can answer and make calls using the watch. And the call quality is actually pretty good, and the reliability has been just fine. It's one of the things I really like about it, so I don't have to carry a giant Note 20 Ultra everywhere around the house and keep it in my pocket. As long as it's in 30 to 40 feet range, it works. So battery life, like I said, it's going to depend on which size watch you get here, and the battery is the same as what's on the Active 2. I found that this one runs a little bit shorter on a charge compared to the Active 2 for whatever reason. I typically use the always-on heart rate monitoring, and I don't have the watch face set to always on because it really is very responsive. You pick it up and you look at it, it's going to turn on right away. But I find it goes about a day and a half. If you're an exercise kind of person like I am, I typically exercise 45 minutes a day. I don't stream a lot of music using it, but there it is. So that's the Galaxy Watch 3. For those of you who want a traditional big, shall I say, manly watch, it's there for you. And it's a very nice product, and it's nice, durable stainless steel. And as you know, if you've watched my reviews, I do like Tizen OS, and I think Samsung smartwatches are the best option out there for Android users. It's up to you as to whether you want the Active 2, if you like it thin or light or less expensive, or if you want this kind of design. That's why they both exist. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you like this vid.